All right, welcome back, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Ace of Spades. Today, my guest is Words Taylor, a online business launch strategist with over $2 million in client sales. Today is going to be like action-packed with value. I am extremely excited to have him on. I know he's going to provide value for you guys. So, without further ado, Words Taylor, welcome to the Ace of Spades.
Yo, David, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw you a softball first, and then we're going to get into things. Do you mind just sharing how did you get into building online businesses and coming up with strategies and helping people?
Yeah, failure is what. Let's keep it real. This wasn't something I set out like, yo, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a launch strategist, and I'm gonna start helping brands be able to launch their business and stuff out. It was I started off in spoken word poetry in college, and I was like, yo, this is something I love doing. Just kind of inspiring and using my poetry to inspire people. So I went down that avenue. I was like, yo, I'm about to start traveling everywhere doing poetry. And then when that kind of dried up a little bit and got saturated, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do motivational speaking, because I was watching Eric Thomas and all of this. Like, I'm gonna do the motivational speaking. And after that got to a point, it's like, I'm not monetizing this. I'm not monetizing it the way that I want to. I shifted to, looking at online and, how do you make, I did what everybody else does. I YouTubed, how do you make money online? And I started finding, I found this guy, James Wedmore, who was teaching how to build funnel systems and how to, create systems to get your audience to go down and actually get sales. And I was like, I like this. And so I started doing them for myself, failed several times. And then finally, I start understanding analytics, people, behavior, content. And I was like, boom, here it is. And from there, I started, launching out other people. I hit up a couple friends and was like, hey, I noticed you're doing this. Let me launch for you. And from there, I was able to just build confidence for my abilities. And then, and I'm sure we'll get into that, but I even was able to get Eric Thomas as a client. People like David Shands is a client, him 500. These are big people that are on the internet, and Terica Lynn Smith. So I was able to get several clients that were like, yo, this is the guy. So, that's kind of how it happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, I follow a lot of, I realized probably how I came across your page. I was like, I follow all those, everybody you just named, I follow.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this guy obviously he knows what he's talking about, because
we do a little work.
Yeah, I didn't know him, but I knew his work. Right?
Hey, yeah. And I love that. I love, you may not know me, but you've been seeing my work.
Right.
You've been seeing the team work. Yeah. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't have to ask you anything in betting and whatnot. Clearly it works. So
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the guest may not know, but I was just recently on your live, literally 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You said something that, it really made me even reorganize this interview. And it was more so as far as duplicating yourself through content.
Yeah.
I've heard that analogy, but more so just with money, as far as creating little soldiers with money and sending them out back. But I never thought about it with content and being able to duplicate yourself, pretty much however many times you put content out, which is
yeah. So just what I was even saying on there is we have to look at, we sometimes get to a point where we admire these other brands, and on Instagram we now say, okay, I have a product, I have a brand, but I'm gonna get them to be a brand ambassador for me. So we put ourselves out there, we pay them and all of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, but I want you to learn how to be your own brand ambassador first. Can you actually become a brand ambassador for your own messaging and what you do, right? And so I'm saying every time we put out a piece of content, you're creating a new brand ambassador. You are duplicating yourself, and now that content can go start having conversations with other people. It can start introducing you to other people. It can tell about your mannerism. It can build trust, the know, like, and trust. It can build your authority, your credibility, everything that we want to build in order to get people to make sales. Your content is capable of doing that. So just think, every time you put out one piece of content, so if you only have one piece of content, then you only have one ambassador working on your behalf. But imagine if you started putting out, 1,000. What if you had 1,000 ambassadors that literally said, I represent the Words Taylor brand or the Dave Mitchell brand? You had 1,000 ambassadors that are constantly meeting new people, talking about you, introducing themselves, all of that every single day. And so then I look at the analytics of it. Okay, this one brand ambassador got 2,000 views on the video. You got 2,000. Good job, brand ambassador. You got 2,000 videos. If you got 20, I would still say good job. Now in the video, I'm gonna do a call to action, because the goal is, I don't want you to stay on social media. I want to try to get you to come into a platform that I have some control over. So you got me 2,000 views, and then I have a call to action where you were able to get 200, let's say 10% of those people to actually take action. Go click the link in my bio. Good job, brand ambassador. You are not only introducing yourself with people, but you're inviting people to the compound where I am live, where you can start to see me live. Okay, cool. So 200 go visit, maybe 100 actually put their email in or decide to take that next move, join my tech squad or something else. So 50% of that conversion is now on my list. And I get to put out another piece of content for the 50% that I'm like, you know what? I need to talk to another ambassador. Cool. I got another one coming. We're going to keep putting out brand ambassadors until you start to understand that I'm the guy. I'm the one for you. And I want you to understand how I teach. I want you to get my mannerisms. I want to make sure you're making a sound decision. So I have to put out enough information, enough brand ambassadors that are talking to you so you can make a sound decision.
That's powerful. And I know something that you said as far as for converting to a platform that you have control over. So I had a conversation like a few months ago, and they were saying that, pretty much along the lines of, build your brand, but do just that, put it on a platform that you have control over, so that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you're not at the mercy of platforms.
Yeah.
Are you an advocate for that? Is that like one of the funnels that you try and push?
Yeah. So that's the goal. That's the reason I put out content. It's not just to I don't put out content just to entertain. I want to empower. I want to become a resource. I want to teach, like all of those things. And then my goal is I want to get you off of this platform. And I want to get a more intimate relationship with you so we can start building something together. Instead of me focus on target audience, I focus on finding my power source audience, meaning that audience where I'm going to empower you and you're going to empower me as well. I'm investing time, knowledge, steps, all of these things, coordinates, whatever, to get you where you need to go. And yours is maybe a financial investment, but we're still investing into one another in this situation. So the content helps me do that. And then it's like, okay, now come over here, because here's a place where I can give you that empowerment that we're both looking for. Here's that. And when we look at it, I was actually talking about this last night in the clubhouse. When we look at it, we still don't even own the email list. And I mean, we own the email list is ours, but if that program was to go down, then we're out of luck as well. This is why, we were talking last night, we should be downloading our email list every single month so we can still get, in touch with those people. Our text list, we should be downloading those lists every single one. So now we can fully say, okay, this is a platform that I have or something that I have control over in that way. So yeah, we definitely want to send people to a place where we can manage better. I can't even say we can control it, because it's still not where we're sending people is still not ours yet.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's powerful, because I think like a lot of times we just focus as far as like on the numbers and like building up clout, and it's like, okay, well, you're still at the mercy of the platforms.
Yes.
You're chasing entrepreneurship. You don't want to be at the mercy of anyone.
Yeah, yes. And that is the thing about entrepreneur. That's the whole goal. That's the reason why, I talk about becoming an entrepreneur and I instill that into my kids and everything, it's like I never want you to be at the mercy of anybody, or I don't want you to have to ever compromise your boundaries for money or compromise your principles or your peace. Right. When you at certain jobs and things like that, things that may bring you peace, that job doesn't care about that. That job will, with some job, let me not say all, but that job may be like, yo, I got to disrupt that because it's about my bottom line, not yours.
Right.
So when we had our daughter, and I noticed that, you know, the job was telling my wife, this is a few years ago, was telling my wife, like, okay, you got 6 weeks, bond as much as you can, and then I need you to come back work. So she's in a room with no intimacy, no whatever. It was a private room, but it's like hard chair, all of that, trying to pump for her baby when she gets off of work and all that. And I'm just like, nah, we're not doing that. That's disrupting your peace, right? Because they have an emergency, they have a bottom line. Okay, praise God that we had the job and was able to get money from it, but they still have a bottom line that they're trying to meet, and you're a part of that. And so what I got tired of was using my talent, my gift, my ideas, and building somebody else's dream. And I'm in it. I'm seeing somebody else's dream come to fruition, and I'm not willing to put that same work into mine. So that's key for me. Ownership, all of those things are key for me. Being able to create peace for myself and not getting caught up and being at, you know, somebody else's mercy. Like, I don't want to be in that position. And that's why my wife and I were both at home full time now. It's because we were like, yo, we're going to go all in on us. And it hurt. But the same thing, this job has the ability to fire me. It's going to hurt either way it go. If they fire me and they don't like the way I move or whatever, they're going to fire me then. Right. Or it hurts when you tell me that I can't go to my kid's baseball game or a wedding, or so. It's gonna hurt. Either way, it's gonna hurt. You just got to pick your hurt. You pick it. I'd rather pick the hurt that has me winning for myself, and then I have something to set up for my family.
Right. Absolutely. No, I agree with that completely. And shifting gears as far as for betting on yourself. So if I come to like a Words Tailor, where does are you gonna help me as far as put my product together, or do I need to have that kind of like the core of what I'm doing already laid out before I approach you?
Yeah, so we have a couple. So we have a couple programs where one, so we have 3 different avatars. One is that person that may be still at their 9 to 5, or they're new or aspiring entrepreneur, right? So you're just getting your feet wet in it. What we do is help you. That's our Dream Builder Nation program, where we help you actually establish what is your brand all about, what is your mission statement, what is your mantra, your elevator pitch, who's your audience, who's going to be your power source audience, and what should you sell? How do you create a survey? So we even teach you how to create a survey for them, and now get them to tell you what problem they want solved, and then to how to create a product, an ebook, a freebie. So we have a program that teaches you all of those things. And then we have some, our next avatar is that entrepreneur that is jumped and it said, yo, I'm full time out here, and you're creating income, but it's not enough necessarily to sustain yourself. We have a done with you service where we're going to go ahead and take you through that process. So maybe it's the same process as the other, but the other is pre-recorded videos, on-demand videos. You go through it at a self-paced. This one is you're actually getting myself or one of my team members, and we're saying, no, you need to have this done, and you need to have it done by Wednesday, and we're pushing you through the process, right? We're teaching and pushing you through. And then finally, we have a done for you service. So all of those clients there that I named earlier, of course, they're all done for you. Like, we do the whole package. Typically, I want you to have a course already done. Not typically. For that package, I want you to have whatever you have, your high ticket digital product needs to be already done. And what we're going to do is now frame out the messaging, the website, the emails. We're going to build out the funnel. We're going to script out the videos, come up with the marketing plan. You only have to show up.
Wow.
That's the goal for that. And then, the result shows from that package.
Wow. So all I got to do is show up, and
show up. Like when we're launching, I get to work with some dope people like Nikki and Moose. Like we're talking and we're planning out the entire thing. We're building the pages, all that. We're talking about the emails. Nikki is saucing up the videos. Moose got the business, strategy. I'm doing the launching strategy. So all of that. And it was like, all right, E, hey, yo, we need you. Now he does have to record the videos, but if we're doing a live launch, we're like, yo, we just need you at this date. Let's put this date on your calendar. Here are the slides, and E is good. Like he can study the slides, and then boom, we go. You just gotta show up there, and that's the done for you service.
Done for you.
Yeah.
And like, how long is the process? Is it like 8 weeks, or is it just like until like what's the
yeah? So for the done for you, we do a 6-week process. So from the moment deposit made, we start our, it activates our team and everything we're doing. And I mean, I'm sure it could be done sooner, but we do 6 weeks just because how I operate is like we want to study the person. The messaging is the most important part. We talked about content earlier, but when you start talking about getting sales and really getting people to purchase a product or want to invest into a product, you have to speak to them directly. So we have to go through this process where for the first 2 weeks, it's just learning who is the audience. What do they want? What do they need? What is the pain that they're going through? And what is the relief? So I go off, I need to know these 2 languages very well. I need to know what's their pain language, what's their relief language. And then we create the funnel and the system based off of that. How do we get them from that pain to that relief? So once we have that mapped out, everything else can start going much faster, but that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time. And many people don't take out time to just study. Who am I talking to? You want to talk to everybody. I don't want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to one person, and I'm going to know that one person very well, because that one person represents a million people that think like you think, or that move or have a preference like you have a preference, or they've experienced the same pain you feel. The young lady Kimber Luna, I bought when my wife and I, this was 2012, we lost our home and we were sleeping in a friend's basement for about 4 months, right? Just entrepreneurship. I'm taking risk, all of that. And we failed. Now, when I say we failed a lot, there was a lot of failure involved. But I remember I purchased a $2,500 product from this young lady because of her story. She had just did a launch. She made about 60 or 80K. And she was on a webinar. She was like, I'm still in shock. I'm going to show you all this, but I'm still in shock. I'm a girl that, just a year ago, I was on food stamps. I was sleeping in my mom's basement. I was doing this. And I was like, that's my story. That she had incredible copy. She spoke directly to me. She spoke to the person that, that has experienced payday loans. That was us. And going to food pantries and all of this stuff. That was us. So I was like, yep, whatever it is, whatever sacrifice I need to do to work with her, I'm going to do it because she's the person that's going to bring me the relief I need. That's how we want to set up our launches. Pain, relief. The pain was like, I'm in another man's basement with my wife and my 5-month-old daughter. I'm in pain. Like, then you come and say, you don't know me. You come and say it was my husband and their firstborn son. We were in my husband's parents' basement and we were on food stamps and all. And I'm like, oh. And now you're here. I need to know everything you know. I need to know all that. And we're actually going to release a product together this year. But we even just had a moment where she saw. We went back to 2012. What year is 2013? When I originally sent her the message of your story resonated with me so much. I don't have the money right now, but I'm going to work to get it. And I will be in your program next year or whatever. And it took me 2 years, but I followed her for 2 more years and I ended up buying the program. Right. And now where we are today, I use those same principles that I learned from her then. And she, we had a conversation just yesterday and she was like, man, your growth and what you're doing is amazing. It's crazy. And that was because that content, that messaging resonated with me to the point where it relieved me and I felt comfortable making the decision to purchase from her because of her story. Like, that's why we launched the way we launched.
Absolutely. Yes.
That was the long version of the answer, but you know.
Oh, no. Hey, take your time. And so I want to follow with that. So if I'm in, like, let's say I'm in that position, like I'm in pain now and I don't have the money to work with a words tailor, what would be your advice for me, like in between, like even before you purchased the program, what were you doing in that 2-year time span?
Yeah, so I did content. I started doing lives on Facebook, right? So, and this is actually I got introduced to ET. So I joined a network marketing company. So I'm still trying to do whatever I needed to do to get money. So I'm joining network marketing companies. I'm trying to take poetry gigs. I'm doing whatever, to kind of survive. I, take jobs, whatever to survive. But I still had this goal of like, man, I want to create some income for myself. So with her, I noticed something that she was doing. I fell in love with her content because she was always going live. And I'm like, I'm an extrovert. I could do this. And then ET comes out and I see the video. My wife showed me the video when you want to see as bad as you want to breathe. And I'm like, I could do this. Let me turn this camera on. And no one talked about your confidence and your self-doubt, because I turned the camera on and I'm like, oh my God, who is this? Whose nose is this? Whose teeth are they? Oh my God. And I could, bro. So it set me back. I could not turn this camera on. So what I started doing instead was, it took me like a year or something to turn the camera on, bro. I could not. I knew I was going to become a meme. I think memes had just really got started.
Right.
I was afraid of somebody like, this fat guy. Look at this fat guy trying to motivate people. I was just like, I'm not doing it. Right. So what I started doing was I started doing poetry every single day. So what I would do is I would comment on people's posts and I would comment in a poem format, or I would tell people like, yo, put any word on my page, on my newsfeed, and I'm gonna make a poem about it. So I started doing a poem of the day, like just something, because I couldn't put out the video. So I was like, let me just do something to engage people. And every single day, I also found like 3 to 5 people where I would look for posts that were maybe negative or something like that. And I would send them a personal message and be like, hey, I saw your last post. I just want to encourage you on today. I just want to do this and say this and all of that. And one young lady, I remember, she had a post that said, I'm so sick of people saying I'm ugly or whatever. And I sent her a personal message like, yo, whoever told you that, I just saw your last post. They lied to you. Stop allowing people to lie to you and trust these lies. You're a beautiful person. I don't even know you, but whatever. And I would do this every day. I did this every day for about 6 to 9 months. And you know what's crazy is, as I started putting out more posts, I started seeing more comments and more likes on the post. And that was because I was intentionally touching people and I was intentionally like pouring into people. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I was just intentionally pouring into people. And then finally that confidence was like, all right, I'm about to do it. I'm about to do it. I went live and it was the most devastating thing ever. So I know you thought the story was gonna be, and you finally, no. I had like 2 people on. One of them was my grandmother. And I was just like, listen, if you can see that it's on Facebook. If you see that first video I had to shift it to, I didn't want anything. I just wanted to test this thing out. I'm gonna be doing a video series. I was like, oh my God. And so I just had made it up in my mind that, you know what, I'm gonna just do it. And whatever comes, it comes. I was listening to Eric Thomas like every day. The mindset is how I had to get the camera on. It was all up here that helped me turn the camera on. So in that network marketing company, I noticed that a lot of people on my team was complaining about like, man, I'm not motivated. I'm not encouraged. So we were getting on a platform we were getting on. We were doing Facebook groups because I don't think Zoom was as heavy then, but we were doing Facebook groups, and I would go live in a group and encourage them there. And they were like, man, I feel so much better. So I connected with one of the top earners. I went to a conference. I saw that. I didn't go to a conference to like just be on some, hey, I'm at a conference. No, I went there and I looked for the top earner. His name is Brandon Boyd. We were at a party and I was like, I validated my man. I complimented him. And I was like, look, I love what you're doing for this, and this. He was like, yo, I'm about to start a morning motivation. And my buddy had a relationship with him. And so I told my buddy, I was like, yo, tell him I could do it. Like, tell him that I want to do the morning motivation with him. He started it 5 days a week. He's like, yo, I'll try you out one day. I'm about to pee myself. So he starts doing the morning motivation. We're on Zoom at this time. And the first time he's like, man, can you do 3 days a week? Yes. So it was free. So what I started doing was I would do on the Zoom with him, but then I would also be on my Facebook. So it helped because I didn't have to pay attention to my Facebook and the fact that it was only my grandmother getting on and she was, hey, baby, and me, hey, baby. I'm like, oh, my God, this is so. But the more consistent I became, I ended up doing 4 lives a week for 2 years straight.
Wow.
The more consistent I became, the more people showed up. And they just showed up. And we took that group from one person to literally there's probably about 20,000 people in that morning motivation group now. 20,000 people. What happens is those people then start talking about me around the company. The CEO, Christopher Terry, ends up hitting up my phone. Well, first he shared my video on his Instagram, and then he hits my phone and say, Words, I love what you do. Let's talk about this. And then so after about 6 months, we talked about doing a contract, and I'm still contracted with the company today. I do mindset and motivation for them, but I also teach their entrepreneurs how to build their business. From there, I kept moving. Well, a mentor of mine from Iowa State University, he's seeing me go live, and he gets a job at Michigan State University. He's like a dean there. First person he sees is Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas walking around. He's like, yo, I got a guy that's doing what you're doing. He didn't say that aspires to be like you or aspires to do what you do. He's like, he's in motion already. And me going live every single morning, he was like, look, here's one of his videos right now. And so E says, yo, just give me my number. And I text E. I didn't get a response back initially. And I actually have recording of E talking about this moment because I was like, yo, you ain't hit me back for like 2 months. But what he did say in that same recording, he was like, man, I was getting a lot of texts doing, and he still does. But he was like, I started texting him at 3:30 in the morning because videos, he said he gets up at 3:30. So I'm like, I'm getting up at 3:30 now. I wasn't getting up at 3:30 before, but I'm about to now.
That's smart.
I was getting up because I wanted to separate myself. So I get up at 3:30 in the morning and I start texting him every morning. And he says, he's like, at first you like, who is this? But then you see the same 515 area code come up every day. You finally like, all right, yo, what's going on? So he hits me back and I tell my wife, like, oh my God, he responded. And then my wife is like, what did he say? I said, he said smart. And she's like, boy, I'm like, no, this is good. Yeah, he's saying what I just said was smart. I'm just like, and from there, like I just made about the relationship. So I invested into a program. I started hitting them every week. I invested into a program which was like $2,000. This is what most people miss. You're trying to get close to people, but you ain't investing into their products or what they're doing. You could get very close to people by investing into what they're offering. I mean, he was just kicking off Extreme Execution, and he told me about it through tech, like, yo, we got this new program. Would love you and wifey to be a part of it. I said, boom. There was no business talk or anything like that. I was like, cool, where's the link? So we were one of the first people to go through the program. It was $2,000 at the time. I think it's a little more now. But there's the online version too. So we were able to go through the program. He was teaching it personally. He was like, yo, I'm going to be teaching this personally. I'm like, babe, we got a chance to get direct access to E. I'm paying the $2,000. I don't even know what I'm about to learn. I don't care. It's direct access.
Right.
So now I get to ask questions. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, all of this stuff, or I get to run things by you. Is that what you're saying? Yes. And it's only like 10 of us. Oh, if he would have said that thing was 5,000, I would have been on it. Because 10 people, we only taking 10 people right now, and you get direct access. This is a new program. We get to be a founding member. That's why when you go to the Extreme Execution Wipes website, you see me and my wife and one of my best friends in the video that us coming out the door and all of that stuff. That was the day. It's like, and you get this, like my face is all over there and all of that, just because I was like, boom, I want access. Here's an opportunity. From there, I started helping the entrepreneurs do what I do. I'm like, yo, y'all should be building funnels, y'all, because I knew how to do the sales funnels. Y'all need to be building funnels. Y'all need to get people on your list, all of those things. And he then caught on to that. He was like, yo, we need to set up a funnel for extreme execution. I said, bet, let's do it. And try this out on the funnel. And then next thing you know, we're in a contract and we're like, all right, now we're doing the extreme execution funnel for you. So from me overcoming the fear and self-doubt, and finally start doing the videos, putting out content every single day, I get a big contract with the network marketing company, and that is inked and dealed. Like that negotiation happened directly with the CEO of the company, Christopher Terry, and then we get another contract directly with the CEO. All right, Eric Thomas, and then from Eric Thomas, then we working directly with the bosses now. We get David Shands, directly with David Shands. We talking about Marcus Barney, him 500. We go directly to Marcus Barney. Terica Lynn Smith, we go directly to Terica Lynn Smith. Because now, when you're doing stuff for other bosses, they only hang around other bosses. So now, guess who they're talking about? Like, yo, man, I got this dude. Now we just did this launch that did this and did this. Oh, yeah? Well, we got something we're trying to launch. Well, you need to hit up. Cool. Now I'm getting a call. You see what I'm saying? And others are recommending, like Nikki sends clients our way, and all of that. Yeah, that's just how it starts to spiral. So that's how this thing got crazy.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I mean, even what you just said, like that, transfers across so many different areas. Consistency and investment. Like, I don't know, I might put that in like the description of this video. Like transfers across so many different avenues.
Yeah.
And so you're building your business, and even prior to networking with Eric Thomas and stuff, what would be what do you recommend as far as the let's just say weekly content output? Like, what is the strategy? Like, how often do I need to be putting out content?
Yeah, as often as you can be consistent. That's the answer. Like, I didn't set out to say I was going to do 4 days a week. I was doing one, and then I just felt like, man, I could do two. I could do three. My man had me doing 1 day. He was like, yo, can you do 3? Yep, I can do it. And I added other days for myself. So whatever you can be consistent at, people want consistency. So what happens is we see other people and we're like, all right, I see we see Gary V put out 5-6 pieces of content every single day. So you're like, oh man, that's what I need to be doing. I mean, it would be great for you to be to that point. But Gary V has a machine like he has a whole squad that's putting out for him. Right? You're not at that point yet. So even if you look at me now, like my goal is I need to put out 5 pieces of content a week. Now, other people want to say, yo, you should be doing 15, all this. I don't care about none of that. Like, but those 5 pieces I put out, that's going to be quality. It's going to be something that you share and you think about and you save. That's what I focus on. 1, I want to put out quality content. I want to be consistent with the content. I want it to be relevant content. and I just want it over a long period of time. Consistent, quality, relevant content over a long period of time. That's my focus. So if I can only be consistent for this quarter for 1 day a week, cool. But it's that one is going to be a freaking production. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm just putting all that into that one, because the more you start putting out the product, especially if you're just doing it yourself, the production goes down.
Right.
The value of the content goes down. Like, I don't want that.
And that's what I was going to ask. Like, what is there like a creation process? Because writers get writer's block, so I'm not sure what you would call that for, a creator block or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, like every Wednesday I'm going to put out some content, and today is Wednesday and I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like,
yeah,
what would be like your advice to me?
Yeah, so if you listen, this is content right here, right now. You know what's dope, and this is what David Shands does on his podcast. My man sits down with other people and have them talk about their success, creating content. Content is everywhere, right? We start to overthink it. If you can't think of content from a week to week basis, then you don't really know your audience or know your business that well. Because casual conversations is content. You just have to make an intentional decision to now, I'm gonna record this, or I'm gonna put this on video, or let me write down that point I just made that, if I was in public or having a conversation, somebody said, oh, that's a bar. Okay, boom, that's a bar. That becomes a quote that you can put out on Instagram, or that becomes a live, like, yo, I was talking to a friend and, I said this and he was like, that's a bar. But, let me tell you all why I decided to say that and how this applies to your life. Everything's become content, especially when we have things like Clubhouse now, right?
Right.
So we have Clubhouse where people are getting on stage and for hours they're asking questions. I can go in where my book, and I'm literally listening to questions with people. So I go into my my thing is funnels. So when I have like if I see a room that says how to create an automated funnel, I'm going in that room and I'm sitting. And when they get to the point where people are on the stage and asking questions, okay, oh, this person is asking that. Oh, okay, let me get that. Oh, you asking that? Okay, let me get that. Okay, that's the second time that questions came up. Okay, that's third. Oh, that's third time that question came up. Or that question came up 10 times in this couple hours. You know what? I'm gonna turn that into a freebie. That's gonna be a nice little free training that I do. That's hot. Like, content is around us, bro. Like, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I did on my Instagram, like my water bottle. I did a piece of content from the water bottle. When you know your brand and your audience so well, I will turn everything around me into content. I'll turn this pen into content. I know how to do metaphors and similes about all of this stuff. So there's walking, breathing, living content around, and you should never not have content. You got it. You just gotta know how to apply it, right? So if you are even if you are let's for instance, let's say you're a wedding planner, and I put this water bottle in front of you, and you're a wedding planner for a bride, you should be able to do something like this is me just thinking off the cuff. All right, ladies. So I know you want to fit into your dresses, all right, which, let me tell you, first of all, you're already beautiful, but I get there's a certain size you want to get to. There's a certain way you want to see your pictures. I want to introduce you to what should be your best friend over the next 6 weeks while you're trying to get into your dress. Your water bottle, 40 ounces of water. This is a 40-ounce bottle. I need you to start carrying this wherever you go. Here's why you're going to carry this wherever you go. All right. Here's what it's going to do. Here's how we're going to get you closer to getting in your dress. And here's like everything becomes content. I can break this whole thing down. Like, and I can start even breaking out why I like this water bottle and how you should look for things where you can carry, or if you don't want to carry a water bottle, you should do this, but that's going to do this and this and this. Like, everything is content. It's content.
and speaking of Clubhouse, I was actually in your room last night. Like, what time did you end up going to bed? Like, cause y'all was like,
oh God, bro, you see these bags still under my eyes now, bro. Like, I think I went to bed about 2, and my youngest son, he gets up about 6 every day. So I'm just like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. It just hurts. And we were that, like, that was all content, and we were vibing. We were normally doing the Q&A thing, but then I shut that down. I was like, yo, let's just vibe out real quick. I don't know if you stayed for that part.
I did. I remember you saying you were switching it, but it was like better to have like the just kind of what we're doing now. Just having the conversations. You can pick up more. It's not as structured.
Yeah. So that was helpful to just make that switch. And I think that's the thing about entrepreneurship that I love. We don't have to go with the cadence that is put out there. We can shift from that and say, no, this is what I'm gonna do though. Yeah, I get that's the way it's been done. You went in other rooms and it was done like that. I don't have to do that.
Right.
That's and I got caught up into that for a second because it was like, oh, I don't want to separate myself. It's like, but that's how I got where I am now, is like fully separating and being, big guy that, I'm willing to wear the hat. I'm willing to rock the red glasses and all of that stuff, like the separation of everything. And like, why stop that now? That's me.
Right. No, and because I noticed that David Shands put out a piece of content saying that's how he structures this podcast. And even when I started mine, like when I stopped writing the questions like ahead of time and like focusing so much on like no matter what he says for the answer to number 1, this is my number 2 question.
Right.
My interviews got so much more smoother. Get more out of it. Like it's just a lot better to go off the cuff.
Yeah. Especially when Dave has a crazy look at his interviews, bro. And I even told him about this. He knows the information that the people are saying, but he has a way of even making that information sound like he just heard it for the first time. He'll know everything that you're about to say, but still like, that's hard.
Right.
That's hard. So let me ask this. When you do this and this and this, and he's feeding off of the interviewer, especially if you have the interviewee, especially if you have a dope interviewee that, that can talk, you can have time to think, oh, look, I'm gonna pull from what he just said. And I'm a boom, here's the next question. And now it's just a matter of when do you want to wrap up? Because they're giving you content so you can formulate your question. And the only thing you got to do, like, look at only thing he does is he responds, he validates, praises, and then he's like, all right, let me get some, I'm a follow-up question. Let me get some more content out of you for the people and for myself so I can ask you another question. And I'll tell you when we're going to wrap up. And it's genius. Yeah. It's genius how he interviews. It's you look at him and you're like, Dave is dope. And that's what you want. But every interview, he never makes it about him. It's if you look at the interviews, it's not Dave is not trying to get his bars off inside of the interview. Like just like you. Like I've been on some interviews, like I'll say something there and then they'll try to get their 5-minute bar. I'm like, bro, is this we could have just collaborated on a live together if you want. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you said you wanted to have me on your podcast, but I just love how Dave, I just love how he rocks, man. It's dope.
Absolutely. No, and that's literally what I've been doing here. It's like this, all the questions I've asked you was something you gave me, and I just wanted you to elaborate on. And touching on what you said, I absolutely hate when I'm watching a podcast and the interviewer is talking more than a guest. It's like, bro, you could have went live by yourself. Like,
what are you doing here? What are you doing? Why am I here? You got me. You know what I'm saying? I'm validating you and then asking you a question. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? What's going on? So yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I've had you about 45 minutes. I am going to wrap up in a second. But
I
want to ask, as far as like, so after I bring your product and I have the idea as far as for how much time I need to be putting in. So what about the quality aspect of it? Because when you say that, okay, I'm going to be doing 2 pieces a week, and I'm going to and make sure I have that same quality. Is there like a unit of measure to say that, okay, well, what's the ratio I'm going to use to break down? Okay, well, you can only do 2 pieces at this quality. Like, how do I determine that? Or is that just something that's, a personal decision? How do I determine that ratio?
Yeah, as far as the content, it's like I want every piece of content I put out to be quality, right? But it's quality within whatever lane it is. So if I'm putting out a quote, like if you go to my Instagram page now, there's a bunch of quotes, but I feel like they're quality quotes, and then I'll have something in the caption. So it's quality I want it to be the best quality I can put out, I can produce at this stage in my life. That is the best quote that has come where I've used that I feel like will be valuable and resourceful to somebody else. Boom. And then video. I'm going to put out the best quality video that I can produce at this point in my life, right? A picture, whatever, or live, or what. That's all I'm doing every single time. Now, I want to make sure that I can keep that up. So if I can only put out quotes right now, I will only be putting out quotes, but it will be the best quality quotes that I can put out every single time. Like, I'm going to put the effort into it. If I can do quotes and videos, I'm going to do the best combination of both. So it's not, I don't want us to measure it. The only person you're measuring it against is yourself. Are you personally at a point where you're like, no, this is the best? When you find yourself like, okay, let me just get something out. You're not producing the best possible quality that you can. Like, so anytime that you're able to, like, no, here's a thought. Now I can move quickly after, like, there was a couple things that I got from this interview. I was like, ooh, I never said it like that before. It'd be gratis. And so I can turn that into a quote, and I can move very quickly then because I've already been in it, right? I've used it. I like how it felt, so I can move very quickly at that point. But I'm only going to put out what I think is the best, quality post. But here's the thing. This is why I say consistent, quality, relevant. Not only quality, but I need to be relevant to my audience. Relevance. Even Facebook has a relevancy score when you're doing Facebook ads, because they're going to tell you, like, this ain't even relevant to your audience. They're not even paying attention to it. They're not. It doesn't mean anything to them. So I want it to be relevant. Like, it has to connect to them. So there's a post, like my biggest post was, it was like PSA, consistency and success it was like entrepreneurs, consistency and success are madly in love. They will never break up. Never.
I shared that.
Oh, did you?
I did. I love that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's quality post is relevant to you as an entrepreneur, and now it's shareable. It's like, yo, no, I agree with this. Like, yo, y'all need to hear this. This will happen. Even my man, no, that was a different. So another post was, I see a lot of people blaming 2020 for where they are right now. Well, a lot of entrepreneurs blaming 2020, but these are seeds you planted last year. And my man Derek Grace even shit like, see, this is what I've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all like, no, 2020 set me off and got me off my path and all that. And I'm like, no. These are seeds. You're reaping benefits of seeds from last year. That's what's growing right now, because 2020 was our best year for our business. Now, let me not sound insensitive, for I do know and understand that Corona and all of that, it did hurt some businesses and things like that. Like, let me not, be insensitive about that. There was a business shut down. People lost their jobs. I'm just saying, in the digital world, which is my world, like 2020, people hit from the digital world. So if you weren't getting sales on the digital side, it's because you're just now starting to switch over to, but you could have planted, you didn't plant any seeds last year. You see what I'm saying? You didn't build an audience last year. You were supposed to be putting out content in January because you said you were going to do it in January. March, the pandemic and all of that hit, and now you're like, COVID. No, you weren't putting out content already. You ain't put out no content last year. So we can't blame COVID for that, because even if COVID wasn't here, then what you did, you picked up on something to blame. So yeah, that's the thing. So that's what I was saying with that post.
And so one final question before we go. What are the?
Well, with me, this final question may be 10 minutes.
Hey, no, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, 10 minutes actually be perfect. It'll be right around. But so like as far as for launching a online product or series, what are like the steps as far as from Word Taylor? Because I know as far as like 6 weeks you cram a lot of info in there, but as far as like a A, B, C, D, what are like the steps that you would like walk me down? But hey, you need to focus on these things.
Okay, cool. So you're saying if we're doing a launch, or if I would be suggesting somebody else to do their launch, and if you were doing like, hey, by the end of 6 weeks, I want to launch myself, what should I be doing?
Right.
Okay, cool, perfect. So first thing I'm gonna say is messaging. Like, you have to know who your audience is, and you need to become very clear. Clarity is the first thing. Is who am I targeting? Who am I talking to? What are their pain points? What is the relief they want? Like, we need to know habits, behaviors. Who do they love? Do as much research as you possibly can. I even want to know what books do I think my audience is reading, all of that, because I'm going to go read the reviews on those books, and I'm going to see what people like about them, what people hate about them. I'm using all of that. And then I'm going to go do a survey. So the next thing you do is, when you do all of this research, you now go survey that particular audience. You can join groups. You can do whatever, hashtags or whatever. Get those people that fit that criteria to validate your findings. So we're going to do a survey, and I'm going to get all that content. I mean, everything, all the analytics back from that. That's going to take about 2 weeks. From there, what I do is I put a plan together for how I'm going to start my campaign. So I don't go into launch mode yet. I go into campaign mode. So similar to when you see the presidential election, when do they start campaigning?
Like a year before, really.
They usually start like a year, 18 months before. And what are they doing? They are talking about their principles, the pains, the problems that they're seeing, the changes they're going to make. They're telling you about what a future will be like with them. They're talking about their personal life, what they've done, what they've experienced. They are getting you to believe in them and their solution for these problems that they identify. They're becoming the authority on a particular thing. They're building a know, like, and trust. They're building their credibility. Oh, I've been doing this 22 years. I was there on the march on this. I was there for this. I knocked on doors for this. They're giving you their resume. That's a campaign. We should be, after we understand who we're talking to, I'm now going to go into campaign mode. Now I got to get people to start believing in me and what I can do for them before we talk about a product. Now, here's the key thing. After I do the survey, I know once I get the result, I know what product we need to do now, because they're going to tell me in the survey. Like when I see this, for instance, with a client, we were talking about, we surveyed the people, and we were like, yo, when it comes to your health, what is the biggest thing that you want? These are older, her target audience is older people. What is the biggest thing you want solved? And we were for sure weight loss was going to be number one. But they were like, I want to be off of medications. We're like, boom. So here's what we need to do. We need to create a program centered around, because most people were dealing with, preventable chronic illness like high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that. So they were like, I want to be off of these medications. 88% of the people said this. So we created a program, and all of our messaging was all around, here's what you need to do to reverse these preventable preventable illness. Here's what you need to start doing to avoid them and all of that stuff. And there's a mentorship that we can create where she takes you step by step. We know the product. Cool. We can start building a product. We can have that start built. And while I'm in campaign mode, by the time I get out of campaign mode, because now my whole campaign is going to be about diabetes. And I'm going to tell you, where is it coming from? I'm going to talk about sugar. I'm going to talk about what it's going to do to your body. I'm going to talk about cancer. I'm going to talk about high blood pressure. I may do some interviews, like all campaigning. And I'm going to get people like, yo, oh man, you talking that talk. I got to start getting healthy. Once I get you to I got to start getting healthy part, now it's time to go into launch mode. So we're going to go from campaign to launch. So launch mode is I'm now trying to get people on my email list, all that. So I'm going to create a freebie. Listen, I just prepared a freebie on how to reverse preventable diseases like high blood pressure and this and this and this, and be able to live medication and pain free. I got that messaging from the survey we did. This is how I know what to put. And so now you all have been watching me. I don't mind sacrificing the sale up front, right? And focus on that, right? So you've been watching me for a couple weeks, talk about this 3 weeks. And now I say, I got a free training for y'all. I appreciate y'all been rocking with me. I got a free training that we're doing. Go here and register for it. So now maybe we get 300 people, maybe we get 500 people to register for the training. Perfect. I just now solidified my authority with them even more because I'm giving them a sample of how I teach, how I move, how I deliver my steps. How do I, what system that I have, my mannerisms. You get a chance to even get some simple relief from this training. And then I'm going to go ahead and pitch my offer. Because the offer, I'm going to identify all these problems, and the offer is going to be the solution, the ultimate solution. So it's going to be like, all right, so listen, if you're struggling with your weight, and maybe you don't have diabetes or high blood pressure now, but I'm telling you, you're on your way. You're on your way. So we have to start preventing those things, or we have to reverse them, and we have to get you to a point where you do this, and this. This is why I created this. And then my next part that I always do, I have to show them exactly where they will be after my program. Like, so it's important. A lot of people focus on just telling them about, oh, you're going to get access to this and you're going to get one-on-ones and this. No, that's cool. But talk to me about my transformation. Where would I be when I get done? When I get done, now we talking. Oh, okay. I'm gonna feel that. Oh, you say I'm gonna wake up feeling rested. Oh man, I'm gonna get rid of these headaches. You're gonna be able to take long walks without knee pain. You're gonna have an increased energy and stamina. Oh, you're gonna be able to play with your kids for as long as you want. You're gonna have a better relationship with food. Oh man. So now I have people making decisions based on their transformation and the relief that they're gonna get, instead of based on, oh, I got 50 videos for you. Instead of, you know what I'm saying? So that's my whole process. I just gave the whole process.
Powerful, man.
Let's go.
Man,
Let's go.
I appreciate that. So as far as for the guests, everyone that's going to watch, like, how do they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Words Taylor, and if you click the link in my bio, there's two things there. There is one, you have my tech squad. So what I focus on is like building a deeper relationship with the people that I'm coming in contact with. So you can join the tech squad. I do every single Wednesday. I do a live training in front of, I got my whiteboard over here. I do a live training in front of my whiteboard on Zoom for free, where I'm teaching you about high ticket items. I'm teaching you how to craft your launch. I'm teaching you about building funnels. I'm teaching about content. Like every single Wednesday, I'm doing that. Very intimate setting. Or you can also, the other link in my bio is a content creation challenge, where I teach you, how to craft your content and start getting people to know, like, and trust, to build up your following, your influence, and ultimately get people to sales page and purchase. It's a 5-day challenge. I'm doing it live right now, But if they were to come after the 11th, after the 15th, then you can get all the replays of the video and all that. It's still going to be the same information. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I'll grab those links and put them in the description of this video.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I appreciate that.
Beautiful. No, I appreciate you, Words Taylor, for swinging by and chatting with us and dropping those gems. Definitely, we'll make sure that I have everything to get people as far as like over to you so they can get advice. I appreciate you.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. This was fun. I feel like I did all talking, but but man, I really enjoyed your spirit, man. Just the questions you were asking, just the inquisitiveness. It made me feel like I was really, like you were really desiring to learn. Right. And so I'm now like, oh shoot, I'm teaching, so I appreciate it, just this setting itself and the room that you set. So thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, no problem. I only interview people I'm curious about. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. So love it. So
thank you, and till next time, everybody.
All right, salute.